A little delayed. Little delayed.
I'm just going to leave it running.
Now it's
I'll
repeating?
edit it later. Huh?
Now it's repeating it.
Yep.
that siren. Do you need any more information?
I waited back from the parents.
Okay, I got that.
Apparently, there's,
Yeah, that's why I was trying to say that nicely a few weeks ago.
yes, sir.
I got something here for you.
Yes, sir. I can use here.
Well, I had it on, it's delayed.
Oh.
But I had it on and we could hear it, so
Okay.
I'm just leaving it on. So so far we'll have 10 minutes of nothingness, but I can edit it later.
Okay.
Which I don't usually do, I don't usually edit it.
Sure, yeah, sure.
Well, that's fine. I don't think anybody wants to listen to 2 minutes of nothing.
I don't know, there's some people that'd rather listen to 10 minutes of nothing.
That's true. Mr. Leisure. One minute. Your bill tonight?
No. Agenda. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
There's nobody. There's nobody on public forum.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries. Go on to regular business. Item A, executive session for attorney-client privilege to discuss City of Columbus reimbursement for KLTC.
Mr. Mayor, I motion we go into executive session for attorney-client privilege to discuss City of Columbus reimbursement for KLTC. Recommended 5-minute session to include the mayor, council, city attorney, city administrator, and police chief.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Can you hear me? It's really static.
Usually picks up the calls.
Test 1, 2. Nothing? Test. Better?
That worked just fine.
I played with knobs.
You can hear me now.
Oh. Okay. Bless you, Norma.
Just need this order sign language so nobody can.
I used to know sign language. Many years ago. Thank you.
You see what Jefferson from the Vikings signed for today? 4 years, $135 million, and 110 of it's guaranteed. I'm like, where did I go wrong? I think we got the right one. gets 88 million just to sign the contract. Like, I'll sign it for him, 5 million. Yeah, baseball out of control too, but football is getting even worse.
Eighteen seconds.
Call the meeting back to order.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we go into executive session for non-elected personnel to discuss employee discipline issue and interview. 25-minute session to include mayor, council, city attorney, city administrator, and city clerk on call.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And they must have some good booze back there.
Hey, Lucas, will you ask Johanna if her people are saying they can hear us now?
Save me a shot.
I wish.
Okay.
Oh, he bothered John? And that's, he said there was 3 of them, or they took out 3 of them, and they haven't heard it. Nothing. One of the children sick in there. 3 of them bothered their own house. Or 2 of them bothered 2 of them. I gotta ask the guy. No, they fired it up after he spoken fire.
the lady in the middle of the two kids and tell me what it looks like.
I mean, I see the white hair there.
Does it look like me?
Well, I see some resemblance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So my daughter was at Silver Dollar City
Uh-huh.
and took a picture of that, mainly because it looked like me.
Right.
I was not there.
There's some resemblance.
There is, isn't there?
They call that a doppelganger.
What?
A doppelganger.
The lady in the middle? I don't know what it is, but my daughter took a picture of it just because of this lady.
You did distant relative.
Yeah, I said, do I frown that much?
Yeah, I've never seen you frown, Karen.
Mm,
Always got a smile on your face.
That's crazy. That lady right there. It's not me. Oh, yeah.
They say we have 8 twins in the world.
8?
Yeah.
That's my number one. She could have smiled. So this is my granddaughter that has leukemia. Yeah, and this is how long her hair is since she's lost it all.
Gotcha.
But it's looking pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
So he was arrested in Bourbon County, and he called and asked me to do a welfare check on kids who died. I don't remember seeing that or anything. It's just, well, is where he had a picture. So, you know, the rest is That's what he was in the wrong. So he got off of it when the officers got there. And then the rest of it.
I know.
So I
I know
went there
about
for
2 feet and it's all wrong.
welfare check.
So
I don't know if I've seen him or not, but I also didn't look like it had again. It's all the same.
Guess we'll talk to property owner.
Hector's asked me, he was very cool. He literally lived right across the street. Right.
Sold it or something.
That's it.
If you work on getting that for me, then I'll go talk to her.
They come down and say, oh,
Yeah, I need another.
watching the Red Sox.
You guys worked on getting a new rig, new truck? Yeah. Huh? And you guys think you can,
Can't really talk to them, start. No.
Call the meeting back to order. Moving on to item C. Consider ordinance to extend fireworks sales.
Currently, the city allows fireworks sales from the 1st to the 4th. The state, which I don't even think it's state statute, I believe it's state fire marshal, allows fireworks sales from the 27th through the 5th. And I know last year we had discussed expanding from the 1st to the 4th. I know personally I got a couple calls last year from residents requesting that our ordinance be amended. It also extends when people can shoot off fireworks. I know this year the 4th falls on a Thursday, so I'm assuming some people will have
same
their
dates?
fireworks parties on the 5th.
If you can fire them, is the same dates?
They're expanded to what the state allows. Before it was only the 1st through the 4th. Do you know, Chief, if is it the state fire marshal that sets those dates? Okay, because it took me forever. I couldn't find it in state statute, and then I found it on the state fire marshal website.
We have a lot of
One more day to keep the fire hose out.
calls in the
Yeah.
past. Guess everybody's kind of new. Chief, do we have very many calls about problems with fireworks in the past?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. They're talking on the radio.
Have we had many calls about firework problems here in town in the past?
No, not really, not very many.
And his fire calls were real low last year too. So.
And anytime we have been called out, it's very small issue, asking if you can shoot fireworks, certain fireworks. And there wasn't really anybody having any complaints after hours.
So I think I made the times earlier from the June 27th to the 3rd, and then made the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. You could shoot them off later.
Until midnight, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's what it was before. But since I expanded it, I just added or made it a little bit earlier, so that we don't have fireworks every night till midnight.
What's the difference, isn't that? All right, okay. I know they're different, but did you show our current one or?
Oh, there's probably two conflicting ones.
One's till 10 p.m. and the other one's till 11.
The longer one is the correct one. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but last year, before the 4th of July last year, we increased the permit fee for selling fireworks from $10 to $100. And I think that actually goes to the fire department's fund. But for some reason, this $10 permit fee was not deleted out of the ordinance, and the $100 fee was added. So they were both listed in there. So that one, I ended up repealing section 305. That was the $10 permit fee. And I think it was at that time that we had discussed extending fireworks sales, and we just, for the next year.
So this one's till 10. And then it has
The difference
Midnight.
the main difference was the repealing section 305.
so we just need to approve the new ordinance.
If you guys are in favor of it.
I've got a question on the sales. They end on July 4th. Didn't it used to be the 5th?
It can be the 5th. It was previously the 4th and changing it to the 5th.
What I'm reading here says
Just sell
you can
fireworks.
sell till July 4th. I always thought it was the 5th.
Yeah, it can be the 5th. Do we
No,
want to make it
before,
the?
on the old one, it was the
It was,
5th.
no, I think the old one was the 4th.
I thought it was
wasn't
the 5th.
Oh, was
It
it?
was the
Okay, so
5th.
that definitely needs to be the
Was
5th.
it the 5th? Yeah, I thought it was the 5th.
So in the motion, if you say the 5th, I
Make a
will,
motion if you'll make an amendment,
yeah,
should be good.
like approve the ordinance with the following amendment, making it the 5th. And then I can change it after the meeting for Mickey's signature. But yeah, good catch. I think it was the 5th.
Yeah,
The only thing is the discharge too. So
the
it's from-
discharge was the 5th also.
Yeah, but it's
So-
only from 8 to noon, the 3rd to the 5th. So afternoon, we probably have to go. I think that
Oh,
should be AM.
it should be 12 a.m.
Yeah, you got 12 p.m.
Okay. So those two changes and then
and it should be AM.
Yeah, right now.
for some reason, whenever I'm editing in Dropbox, I haven't been able to figure it out yet. But if I make edits, sometimes my old one stays and the new one, I think Karen told me why it happens, but I haven't corrected it yet.
Mr. Mayor, a motion that we approve ordinance number 1382 with the exception of selling fireworks through July 5th and then having them shot off until 12 a.m. instead of 12 p.m.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item D, consider making a principal payment on water project interim financing and engagement letter.
Our interest payments are already up to almost $17,000 a quarter on our interim financing for the water project. That will only increase as we incur more design engineering fees, and we are going to bid out the stainless steel mile first, so that will add to the top heaviness of our fees, which will also increase our interest costs. I spoke with Mr. Fisher with the USDA, and he said that we could use reserve funds to make a principal payment on that loan in order to reduce our interest costs. And then when the project reaches substantial completion, they will reimburse those reserve funds. So probably within 3 years. So we have that option. Karen and I also had a meeting with a firm that is interested in refinancing our interim financing. I know it gets, right now, our rate is between 6 and 7%. They believe they can get it to 4. So we have to sign an engagement letter, which would allow them to give you guys a proposal, and then you guys could either approve it or not approve it. In the interest of fairness, I let our local bank know that this would be coming up at the council meeting, and he would also like the opportunity to speak to the local banks about potentially lowering that rate. So we might get 2 new proposals for a refinance. And I feel like there was one other thing I needed to mention. I don't remember. So I don't know if we want to go ahead and make a principal payment or if we want to wait until.
I'd wait to see what we get
Yeah.
on the other letter.
How
Yes.
soon are they looking at?
I think they could maybe have it by the next meeting. So all I need now would be a motion to allow Mickey to sign the engagement letter, giving them permission to come up with a proposal for us. I'll let our local banks know that you guys approved it and signed it, and then ask them to give us a better rate. The ones that we spoke with, the firm that we spoke with, said that we're basically an A++ debt because we're a municipal, and the USDA is backing the interim financing, meaning that they're going to pay it all off at the end of the project. So there's like, it's a municipal
Best risk
debt
they could take.
plus a federal government debt, and that they can get us a good rate, not almost 7%, maybe around 4. And he said maybe even less.
So, Mr. Mayor, make the motion that we sign the interim letters, engagement letters, to get this financing started or get them the opportunity to start the financing and see where we land.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item E, consider waiving fees for fireworks permit for District 4 as an automatic aid partner.
We usually waive the fees for District 4 because they are an automatic aid partner for our fire department, and they use the revenue from their fireworks sale as a fundraiser for District 4
And I think their insurance is covered by the county.
by the county. Yes.
So, Mr. Mayor, I motion that we waive the fees for District 4's firework permit.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, discuss lead and copper rules.
Good evening. I just wanted to give you a little bit of update on a major undertaking that Public Works is going to do in the next 4 months. A little bit of background. Everybody's heard of Flint, Michigan, and the lead copper issues that it created. Well, as a result of that, OSHA has set up what they call the lead copper rule. We have to inventory, everybody, the whole world there, it seems like, has to inventory every house, every water line, every main, and I have to submit this information to KDHE by October 16th. This has been out for about 3 years, 4 years. We are late to the party. There were people thinking that we didn't have to do it because we're replacing lines. But this document, this big, huge, massive spreadsheet that will detail every house and parts of it, has to be updated every 2 years from now on out. The reason I'm bringing it up is because when we start sending out mailers, we start knocking on doors, we start making this huge effort to get the information. You guys are the ones going to get the questions. So I was hoping to tell you what we were doing so you could answer them. An example of some of the stuff that has to be on this spreadsheet: what year the house was built. Was it built between 82 and 89? The reason for that is the copper is fine. I mean, but it's the solder that was used on the copper.
So if it was of certain era, it might leach lead. If it's later, it won't. But we have to ask when the house was built. I'm not going to go through all these questions because you're going to see them. But did your kitchen get a major remodel? What type of service lines do you have to your house? The problem is if we don't get a lot of cooperation, we don't get every bit of information we can, it will default and say you have a lead line, therefore you have all these samples every year you have to do, and the city will incur a lot of costs. And this is something we can't get out of. Like I said, it should have been done, started a couple of years ago, but say for example, we replace some service lines, we use PVC, we don't have any issues. We have to update this sheet. Next year, if somebody remodels the house, we have to update this sheet. So this is a nightmare that goes on and on. It's a gift that keeps giving. We're going to try to kick out questionnaires to the houses. If that doesn't work, we'll, for the ones we don't get, we're going to have to knock on doors if we have to. If somebody says, I'm not telling you, I don't care, it automatically defaults to there's lead in that house. Therefore, that's why they don't want to talk to us, and it will kick into a testing schedule for that area. And I have to document that we went and we talked to these people, and 1 year later I have to go back every year until they give me a yes. So it's a very huge undertaking. So like I said, you guys are going to get the questions, so I just wanted to let you know it's coming.
I could see this being something that people go and say, well, you're going to take this to the appraiser's office, you're going to do this, I did a kitchen remodel and I don't want anybody to know about it. I could see that being a problem. What do you think we do to counteract that?
There may just be a blank on that page.
You have
On
We
that
want to try to avoid that as much as possible. So we want to encourage cooperation because we talked about this. This is the LSLI. And so we talked about this when it came out a couple years ago, and Steve was here. The issue is if you leave a blank, we are punished for that. So we're going to have, we want to, it's not going to be used for that. It's going to be sent to anybody. It's for purposes of the federal government's requirement that we fill out this LSLI inventory. And there are 19 to 21 questions, as I would categories, I can't remember on the spreadsheet.
26. It keeps growing.
And so, and again, when we first talked about this a couple of years ago, you know, KDHE, they're like, hey, we're learning as you are. We don't want to make you do this, but we're being told we have to do it, and so we're passing it on to you. And actually, they've been very helpful. When you talk to KDHE, they're helpful folks. At least that's been my experience in the conversations and the seminars that I've gone to on this. So,
Can we somehow relate this to them turning it into the city with their bill?
Yeah,
Or
I'm going to try to do that.
can we like say they have a deadline of this amount of time? If we don't get it, is there a way to send that out with their bill and say, hey, when you pay your bill, we need to do this? You know,
we can do with anything within reason to try to get their cooperation.
I think what you're gonna find out, we went through this with the LMI.
Similar thing.
We had just barely 50%, answer. Most of them said we'll do it, and you never hear from them again. But I got a feeling you're probably gonna have the same thing.
And I think we're going to be doing a lot of knocking
There's some
on
door
doors
knocking. Yeah.
can
and
we do
asking,
it
were you
on the website?
Pardon?
We can do it on the website.
Yes.
We can do anything we want to get compliance as long as it's within reason. But I tend to agree there's going to be some door knocking because
Go ahead.
people just want to,
Correct.
Yeah.
they want their privacy.
Yes.
They think you're invading their privacy. And,
I mean,
and
some
we're
of
not.
this-
We're doing what we're required to in this LSI requirement.
Some of the questions are, have you put a water softener in your house? Now that affects the testing schedule of where they want to test or not. So it is an important question, but they're not going to see it that way. They're going to see it's an intrusion.
The KDHE led us to believe that education is important. So, we might have to schedule some meetings and try to get the word out, put it on our website. I mean, all the stuff we can do to make sure we get compliance.
it's a nightmare and we're out of time. So I expect I'm gonna have one or two people doing it between now and October every day.
Is this something we can get with the landlords? Because obviously the landlords of the third of the town, or feel like they do with the town. That's something we can get with the landlords and have them cover their properties.
Yeah.
And that way we're not expecting someone that doesn't even own the home
Right.
to have that responsibility to know what's in the home.
Good idea.
Hopefully they'll pass it on to the landlord and they'll return it in. Now, they gave us a couple of get out of jail cards. For example, if a row of houses was built, 10 houses were built at the same time, we can find one and say they were all like this. Or I can, and we're going to be doing it, we're going to be finding people, plumbers, anybody who's worked on these houses, I can put in there. It was relayed by so-and-so that this house has been upgraded to PEX. That is what's in here. We can take word of mouth from professionals that have worked on it, or somebody said, I've modernized it. We're not going out and saying, no, I have to see it. We don't have to. We can take their word for it. And that's going to be a big thing. But the whole thing is, we've got to have people cooperate, or it's going to cost the city more in the long run and the residents more in the long run when we have to have a accelerated testing schedule, or they're going to take this information and put it in this big black computer in the sky and spit out, well, you have to test now this area, these, when we do our water upgrade and get all these lines replaced, we have to go in there to this document and enter every address, what had been done. So it's one of these things that's going to go forever right now. We don't dare not do it because it's a KDHE requirement. And
I mean, just spitballing here, because this has to do with the whole town and safety of the whole town being copper and lead, would this not be something that eventually we could pull out of the public safety tax to help us get this done? So if we had to hire someone part-time to help go out and push pencils to paper, could that not be something that could be done? Because
I knew early on there was
citizens.
there was money available to help you get your surveys done. I don't know if that's still the case. I know you had to get on the list. When we went to those meetings initially, you had to get on this list, and then there was the first ones went through and they said there's going to be another one coming up and so forth. It's probably just going to have to call KDHE. And again, they've been very cooperative. They
unfortunately, the big cities, the Johnson counties, the Wyandotte counties, all these counties that have people, staff just sitting there looking for something to do, jumped onto that money. They were getting it done before the rest of the smaller cities and the people with limited staff.
Yeah.
They had, the money was gone before we even.
Was it?
Yeah, before you can even turn around. Everybody kept hoping against hope that literally what he said was happened. Here, you go do this. And KDHE, KRWA saying, how? Well, we don't know. We're just telling you to do it. And so it's taken 2 years or more, 3 years to refine what they really want.
Yeah.
And every time, in fact, the people who got on it very early, oh, sorry, we changed the form. You've got to start over again. So it is now pretty much lined out. I don't think that's going to happen, but my problem is it never ends. This is going to go on forever. A new house over here on Harmon, it's got to be entered in there, even though lead and copper, we're not, there's lead and copper out there. And it's not the copper, it's the lead solder that was used to put the copper together.
Yep.
So if it was.
And galvanized pipe.
And galvanized pipe, if it's downstream of a lead pipe.
Right.
And stuff like that. So they're hoping that all this information we gather, put on this spreadsheet, and they send it to that massive computer in the sky, and it spits back, this area is a problem. We want to do lead testing of the water over here. This area, which is newer construction, we don't want to mess with it. It's okay. So they're going to use that to determine our testing schedules and where we test.
So we're asking citizens to do this, that have no idea about what they have or how old their house is and.
What I was going to propose, and as part of the project, is put a phone number on it. If they need help to determine or help, that's the people. We'll go there. That's what we have to do. We'll do it.
Right, but is there a standard? Be like, okay, we have copper pipe, now what do we look for? Can we put out a chart? Like, this is what PVC looks like, this is what copper pipe looks like, this is the solder on copper pipe. If it's blue, that's wrong. If it's gold, it's fine.
Something like that?
Yes. Yes, that's exactly that's what I'm asking. Are the people are gonna know the difference?
Yes.
Me, I know I have PEX because I put in PEX, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have my hands on it, but older
Well-
people don't know, people that just bought a house, they don't know.
We're going to try to keep it as simple as possible, because if we start putting all that in there, we're going to confuse people. But we are going to put something in there for a way to get an answer. And hopefully when people pay their water bill, we can get help there and say, hey, have you done this form yet? Could you take it, please bring it back next month? Because if we don't get it back, we knock on doors. And I don't have to be able to do it. We may be working weekends and evenings when people are home to do it, but I think there's 1,300, approximately 50 homes. Something like that is what I saw on the list. That's the meters we have. So, and then we have to do an extra effort around. Pardon?
You go to schools and everything.
Have to do extra effort around schools and daycares. There's a whole different inspection for them. So questions are going to be coming. I hope I help give you a little idea of what's coming. And I'll send out the information as I get it to you guys so you can see it. So, but I'll go to buy anybody's house that says, help me figure it out. OSHA is saying we're responsible for that water all the way to the kitchen tap, even though that service line isn't ours. Now, they haven't told us how we're going to fix that. How we're going to fix that service line. We know it's not a good service line, but they haven't got to that yet. It was one of the, here it is, go do it. We'll tell you later when we figure it out. Because technically we go to the meter. Anything on the other side of the meter is a service line. But I think some of our replacements might go a little further because we find an issue. And it may get to a point that we have to figure out a way to replace some of these lines. They're just not, it's still a gray area where our responsibility will ultimately end. But
That was my question, Jackie. Is it something where I know the answers matter, but we're not physically checking. So are we going to just hope there's not a blank space? And then, for example, if they look at the pipe and they think it's copper, but they're not sure, will they just put down copper?
then we'll record it as that. That's when we fall back on the year, because if we can say this house was built in 1950, we pretty much know that copper probably has solder. But if it was built in 2000, that solder was off the market.
Well, that'd be county too, correct? Like county records
I'm sorry.
county records for the home being built.
Yes.
Can we use
We may
that?
have to, yeah, we may have to go into that kind of stuff. The good thing is we can go by neighborhoods if we can. This neighborhood was built in this era, we can go by that. They know it's not going to be precise 100%. They just want it so they can draw a massive sampling for the areas that might be compromised.
Will we sample anyway? Just not as much.
Pardon?
Will we sample anyway? Like after it's all
Oh,
sampled?
we always sample. Yeah, we're sampling anyway, but this is for more targeted areas that might be an issue. Thank you. No further regular business, wish everybody
summer. It's getting nice and hot, so use the amenities that are available. I always say that, but spending your money here in town and keeping it local keeps those amenities running year in, year again. So just do it in a safe manner. Keep your kids outside, make sure they're safe, make sure they have their helmets on, they're riding on the right sides of the road. I want to thank the city staff for what you're doing and keeping us up and running. Cliff, we're out of power this morning. Thanks for getting it back up. It was great. I heard a big boom and then 30 minutes go by and I'm back in business. So that was great. Thank you. You never know when it's going to happen. So the fact that we have our guys moving and on call, it's very much appreciated. Aside from that, it looks like we have some big stuff once again, Jackie, on your plate. So thank you for pushing forward and for, getting in the thick of it and trying to get that done for us. Hopefully everyone will be on board to help you and citizens will hear and know that it needs to be done. Might be something that if we put it in the paper, maybe people would, see that and go, oh, I need to do this so that we keep costs down in our town. Aside from that, thank you guys. That's all I have.
I just want to thank the city police for what you do day in, day out. This Jack, I know it sounds like it's going to be a major task. And I hope most citizens will be able to help in that endeavor. Any form of communication, I know we have paper, our website, social media. I think the biggest question will be what's on the form and what's needed. Which from what I've heard so far, hopefully it's not too complex and a lot of answers, a lot of questions that we answer, which is a little knowledge of the topic. So, other than that, the facility, citizens that come in and come out, they enjoy the facilities that we are. The pool, I've got compliments on the pool already. A lot of kids enjoy that. I believe Sundays are still free, correct? Families, basically. And I was asking if you want to just a reminder that facilities, if you have questions, you can contact City Hall and they'll be able to answer those accordingly. That's all I have.
Thanks to the police, everybody, keep safe out there. Do your effort. All I have.
Mr. Mayor, I have motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.